It is an absolute delight to have your company for NTV Tonight. This week, I am Sandra Kahumza, and we are coming to you live from our NTV studios here at the Serena Conference Center. Here is a quick look at the top stories tonight.
NTV Tonight, brought to you by DFCU, going further together.
Tonight,
stop the process of the deployment of the UPDF to the Gaza Strip.
Uganda's proposed deployment of UPDF troops to Gaza continues to face fresh questions a day after Israel rejected President Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza peace plan.
We will compel Madam Chairperson.
All have to be here. We should not allow this impunity to proceed, Chair.
Parliament has ordered for the arrest of Mariam Ogadia, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, after she failed for a second time to appear before the Committee of Parliament on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises. Also on NTV Tonight,
I hereby commit you to the High Court for trial.
Chris Obere and 6 other senior Parliament officials have been committed to the High Court over corruption charges. And
of recent, we faced a challenge. And you can't stop roadworks. People need water, they need good roads.
National Water and Sewerage Corporation dismisses water crisis claims in Kampala, but admits that water is rationed in some areas.
Somebody said 5 months. I highly doubt that.
DFCU, going further together.
Thank you once again for joining us here on NTV Tonight. You're still with me, Sandra Kahumza, and Maureen Nambalira on the sign language. We will get started with reactions to Uganda's proposed deployment of the UPDF troops to Gaza that are currently facing fresh questions after Israel rejected President Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza peace plan. Now, the opposition Front for Democratic Change says that Uganda should abandon the deployment, saying that it does conflict with the country's responsibilities as the chair of the non-aligned movement. We bring you their story.
Uganda may have parliamentary approval to deploy troops to Gaza, but the opposition Forum for Democratic Change Party, FDC, is asking whether the mission should go ahead at all. The FDC says the deployment places Uganda in a contradiction, supporting a US-backed military framework while at the same time leading the non-aligned movement, NAM, which has historically supported Palestinian self-determination and opposed foreign military intervention.
The US is a superpower. The non-aligned movement does not allow its members to ally with the superpowers. So Uganda is now taking a step that undermines the credibility of this country as a member state of the non-allied movement and as an advocate of the voices, advocate for the voices of the global South.
FDC also questions the parliamentary process, saying members of parliament were given inadequate time to scrutinize the deployment, including its financial cost, risks to soldiers, and compensation for injuries or loss of life.
The parliament were denied the time to examine the matter deeply. The motion authorizing UPDF deployment was hurriedly tabled, rushed through the plenary process, passed without any adequate debate, not scrutinized by any parliamentary committee. It was not supported by a clear risk analysis or cost-benefit analysis. The rush through parliament undermined parliamentary independence and denied Ugandans the right to reflect on the following. Number one,
Uganda has extensive experience in foreign military missions, particularly peace support operations in Africa. But Gaza presents a different challenge. And now the political framework for the proposed mission itself is under pressure. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected President Donald Trump's 15-point Gaza plan, saying Israeli forces will not withdraw until Hamas is fully disarmed. That matters for Uganda because the proposed international stabilization force is linked to the post-war arrangements envisaged under the Gaza framework. If Israel maintains its rejection, the question becomes whether the conditions necessary for an international stabilization force can actually be established. And without an agreed Israeli withdrawal and a workable political settlement, the timing, mandate, and even the operational role of Ugandan troops could become uncertain.
President Museveni should therefore stop the process of the deployment of the UPDF to the Gaza Strip. He should call for a meeting of the non-allied movement, member states to come here, just like the way they came here recently and installed him to be the leader. The non-allied movement should make its position clear on this matter of the deployment of foreign forces to Gaza. And then Uganda, if Uganda wants to continue, if Museveni wants to insist on to continue to be in Gaza, then he should resign from the position of being the chairperson, the chairman of the non-allied movement.
For Uganda, the debate is therefore no longer about whether UPDF troops should go to Gaza, but whether the mission they were authorized to join still has the political foundation on which it was approved. Daniel Kibet, NTV.
Thank you, Daniel, for starting us off tonight. And that story will be guiding our conversation. So we do ask you to share with us your thoughts on Uganda's proposal to deploy UPDF troops to Gaza. Once again, we ask you to share with us your thoughts on Uganda's proposal to deploy the UPDF troops to Gaza. Please do send in your thoughts on our social media platforms, that is X and also NTV Uganda on Facebook. We'll be right back to sample some of your thoughts. Well, now in other news, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Mariam Wangadia, faces arrest. Orders for her arrest were issued after she failed for a second time to appear before the Committee of Parliament on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises. The Parliamentary Police was directed to deliver her to the committee by 9 a.m.
Wangadia is just bad-mannered.
Members of the Committee of Parliament on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises hardly had kind words for the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Mariam Wangadia. The first irritation with Wangadia was because of her failure to show up before the committee to respond to audit queries in the Auditor General's report.
COSASE has all the mandate to audit or interrogate the audit findings regarding the human rights mandate, because that's the business of the Human Rights Commission. In fact, if you want to look at the audit report, which I'm sure you're all very well versed with, it has human rights issues.
It was the second time Wangadia had not honored the invites of COSASE, leaving members infuriated.
Misbehavior and misconduct. This is one of the issues of misbehavior by the chairperson. So probably we are holding on to, as Honorable Sewungu, we are flogging a dead horse.
To say that she cannot appear before this committee is irregular and illegal. Insubordination.
We are not going to be here massaging egos, just handling you like you're not babies. You know what you're doing, and you know why you are called here.
Despite Wangadia's failure to show up, what irked the committee members was the contents of a letter she apparently wrote to express her inability to appear.
You can't tell us that you're writing to us today, that you will not avail yourself. And Honorable Chair, I'm requesting that we take action over such entity.
The committee members found the reasons flimsy and disturbing, as Wangadia stated that she would instead appear before the Human Rights Committee of Parliament.
This letter does not state a reason. It's not seeking a reschedule. It's titled Rescheduling of the Meeting to Consider.
The chairperson, Mariam Wangadia, choosing to tell us where she intends to appear is rejected by this committee.
Some of the issues in the audit report that the members want answered have to do with the reasons why the Human Rights Tribunal has yet to hold a sitting in more than 6 months.
Tribunals are giving only the chairperson the powers to chair the tribunals.
Honorable Chairperson and members, a Human Rights Tribunal is chaired by chairperson and members.
Why are you not sitting?
We last had a tribunal in December.
In early July, Wangadia wrote to the president seeking to resign from the position after being at the helm of the office for 5 years. There has yet to be an indication that the appointing authority has approved the resignation, which was one of the questions raised in the committee.
Do we know, is this lady, has she resigned or she's still serving? We need to know that. Because we might be following a daily horse. But Mr. Chair,
maybe in her letter she signed as chairperson.
Didn't she?
It is dated August 10,
Chair,
2026.
that letter is Panchurium.
It was a chorus of calls from the committee members for the committee to evoke its powers to compel Wangadia to appear.
You're a person who knows the law very well, so she knows what she is doing. Chair, I pray that you do not proceed until we compel her to be here.
There is no way we can proceed interfacing with this agency without the chairperson. Otherwise, how shall we interrogate on governance, on the matters of governance?
And Mr. Chairman, on the look of things, the eyes have it.
The chairperson of the committee, Mwada Nkunyinji, was seldom left with any other choice.
I want to instruct our CID to look for Mariam Wangadia, arrest her for purposes of bringing her to this committee tomorrow at 9 a.m. I saw rule meeting adjourned.
It will be noted that the Uganda Human Rights Commission is deeply divided, with the chairperson and members of the commission keeping a distance away from each other, which could explain the reasons for the failure to institute the Human Rights Tribunal. Accusations of corruption have rocked the commission.
President Museveni termed this term of office the term of no more sleep, and it appears the Committee of Parliament on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises has taken that to the dot. They have now ordered for Mariam Wangadia, the chairperson of Uganda Human Rights Commission, to be forced to appear before the committee tomorrow at 9 in the morning. It was to see if the police will deliver Wangadia. Jackson Onyango, reporting for NTV at Parliament.
We'll be updating you on that story as events continue to unfold. Now, moving on, members of the Electoral College at village level have today elected LC2 chairpersons at over 10,700 parishes nationwide in a process that the Electoral Commission says has generally been peaceful. However, at some polling stations, scuffle ensued over non-harmonized party representation at the local council 2 committees.
10, 11, 12, 13.
The Local Council 2 is the second tier of Uganda's lower local government structure that operates at parish level, linking village councils to sub-county administrations. Today, elected members of the Local Council 1 committees that constitute the Electoral College for the Local Council 2 polls converged at the over 10,700 parishes across the country for the exercise. In Kampala at the Kamocha 2 parish that brings together 10 villages, NRM's Geoffrey Bahemuka vowed to protect residents from young aspiring leaders he said are only driven by cash handouts.
Some of these young people that think that this is a business, actually to me, I look at them as with interest. They think of giving out letters where they would benefit by getting money. They think about selling land, they can get commission. So the interest is majorly business.
Even them, they have been there, and lands have been stolen in the areas, and they have been sold. So for us, we have come to put equality in the area and service.
At Bad Valley Primary School polling station, a scuffle ensued over the number of ruling party members on the LC2 parish committee, with most members calling for fresh polling.
We had to select the committee. Which committee? We have to agree as the voters in the parish register that we have selected this and this and this, that we shall work with that person. But according to what has happened here, the voters have not agreed, totally not agreed with the committee that has been selected.
Away from Kampala, in Busia, at some polling stations, police was forced to intervene to stop the exercise from turning violent. Esther Omboka, the Assistant Busia District Returning Officer here, says they will probe alleged anomalies during this exercise. The Electoral Commission has since ordered a repeat of LC1 elections in over 1,000 villages after disrupted polls, and some of the affected candidates today stormed Commission offices in Namongo over the same.
From the reports I have received so far, the exercise is moving on well. There are always one or two issues when it comes to elections in this country. Early tomorrow morning, that's when we shall be in position to give you a holistic position or picture on how elections went on today in the parishes in the country.
Well, now, as we speak, 7 senior parliamentary officials recently interdicted by the IGG and later arraigned in the anti-corruption court have been committed to the High Court for trial. Among these include Chris Obore, who is the Director of Communications and Public Affairs, among others.
The so-count one of the indictment is in respect of Chris Ariko Obore. Its embezzlement contrary to Section 18 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Chris Ariko Obore, between January 2023 and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, while employed as Director of Communications and Public Affairs at the Parliament of Uganda, stole 5,253,100,000 shillings only, being the property of your employer, to which you had access by virtue of your office. The alternative count to that is causing financial loss contrary to Section 19 of the Anti-Corruption Act. The particulars are that Chris Ariko Obore, between January 2023 and May 2026 in the Parliament of Uganda, in Kampala, received 5,253,100,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament of Uganda, which you did not implement, knowing or having reason to believe that this would cause financial loss to the government of Uganda. Mr. Rajab Kaya Semalulu received 1,870,108,000 shillings for donations and corporate social responsibility activities of the Parliament, but neither implemented them nor returned the money. That Mr. Okwi Emron received a total of 1,105,000,000 for donations and corporate social responsibility activities for Parliament of Uganda, but neither implemented the activities nor returned the money to Parliament. And upon that, the prosecution shall contend that you do not have a valid defense or lawful excuse to the charges, and they will pray to the court to convict you as charged. So with that, I hereby commit you to the High Court for trial and any arrest date available to the High Court. Thank you.
Well, that story will take us in for a very fast break. But once again, we do remind you of a poll question we did ask you earlier to share with us your thoughts on Uganda's proposal to deploy the UPDF troops to Gaza. We are still waiting to hear from you, so please do go to Facebook and also on X and send in your views. We'll take a short break, but here is still to come. Still to come on NTV Tonight.
If we can save time, we can save a life.
We examine how innovation is transforming laboratory medicine with a smart digital system that tracks medical samples in real time. And
the interest of those who sign these loans is to make sure the loan is going to maybe their kickbacks there.
Uganda's public debt has climbed to about 130 trillion Ugandan shillings, with rising domestic borrowing increasing concerns over the cost and sustainability of government financing.
I found a mattress, comfy and quality, rose foam, so durable. I wake up energized and stress-free, rose foam, my world of happiness.
A peaceful sleep prolongs life. Do you feel backaches or sleep disorder? Change your lifestyle by making the best choice to have a rose foam mattress for you and family. All types are available.
I'm stuck on you today, tomorrow, and forever. Rose foam, your family mattress.
Rose foam, a world of beautiful dreams.
Predator Energy Drink, the official energy drink partner of Chelsea FC, brings you the Bera Gumite Day Predator promotion, where lucky fans will get a chance to go watch Chelsea FC live at Stamford Bridge in London. We're also giving away border borders every week. Over 400 million shillings of airtime to give. Every day, all you need to do is buy a bottle of Predator that has a white cap. Under that cap, you'll get a code. Text it to 6688 and who knows, you may just be winning yourself one of these fabulous prizes. Bera Gumite, name Predator. This promotional offer has been approved by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you, NTV, for turning on our world for the last 20 years. On this occasion, as you turn 20, I celebrate 2 decades of excellence. Thank you for telling all the untold stories, of speaking truth to power, of being our voice in seasons when no one could tell us stories. In my own capacity, I say thank you very much. I wish you many more years of growing strong, of excellence, and may you go from strength to strength. Long live NTV.
Omulabi waffe omulungi weebale nnyo olw'obuwagizi bw'otulaze wano ku pulogulaamu yaffe eyamwasuze mutya okuviira ddala ku bbalaza paka ku Lwokutaano. Weebale kutambula naffe mu lugendo nga tukyusa obulamu bw'abantu nga tuyita mu gyenvudde w'abantu, ebyobulamu, ebyenfuna, ebyokubudaabuda, ebyamaka ko ne ba personalities ab'enjawulo. Okusobola okubaweereza obulungi, tugenda kuba tubatuusaako pulogulaamu yaffe eyamwasuze mutya okuviira ddala ku bbalaza paka ku Lwokutaano okuva ssaawa 3 paka ssaawa 4 ez'okumakya. Neegattaako nze Stella Nante, tusanyukire wamu ng'ate bwe tuyiga. Mbalenze.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still watching NTV Tonight. You're still with me, Sandra Kahomza and Maureen Nambalira. Now, as we speak, some residents in Chengera Town Council, Wakiso District, say that they have spent up to 5 months without running water and have now turned to wells and other alternative sources. The challenge has increased the cost of accessing water, with some residents paying between 1,000 and 2,000 shillings for a single jerrycan fetched from the wells. However, the National Water and Sewerage Corporation says that water is rationed in areas experiencing supply challenges and claims that some of these residents are facing those issues. We'll bring you more in this report.
A number of residents in Chengera Town Council have resorted to paying people to fetch water from wells after spending nearly 5 months without a reliable supply from the National Water and Sewerage Corporation.
Now it is 5 months since National Water stopped giving us water.
It has taken about 5 months without getting water from National Water. People are paying bills. People are facing the problem of water, no water at all. But those people of National Water told us that we shall receive water around the September.
With no running water at home, residents say they now spend between 1,000 and 2,000 shillings for a single jerrycan, depending on the distance from the well.
It has affected us a lot because we have toilets, bathrooms, and we've not had water. So you can imagine that smell. Like you can look for somebody to fetch you water because we have a borehole down there, but a jerrycan goes for 1,000. And to get somebody to get it from there up to here, it also becomes a problem.
We call upon National Water to solve this problem, because it is going to cause other problems. Mainly, our children come, mainly in the evening, to fetch water, and they leave late, like at 10. That one can cause insecurity to our children and to our homes.
In some areas, residents today saw the water return to their taps, but the pressure remains too low to meet their needs.
In 3 months, today is the first time to see water, but the pressure is low. It can't supply the toilets, showers, sinks, so.
But this, however, has created an opportunity for some people who fetch water for residents at a fee. Sulaiman Nasimwe is among those making several trips to the wells each day.
Enkuba bwetonya kitunda bitano olusi lusanvu wegabeerako gabaga bitano ku lusanvu ku lukaga.
Residents of Chengera Town Council are also questioning why they continue to receive water bills despite spending months without a reliable supply.
The bad thing, National Water comes to our homes asking us to pay the bills, yet they are not giving us water.
Somebody will say, even if you have received water out of 30 days, you may find you have received water maybe for 20 days. The bill has to come. The bill has to come. So for us, every month, unless if your account is suppressed, we say this account, maybe under the request of a customer, says, first put me off as I sort myself. Maybe he's shifting, maybe he has finished construction, but provided your account is active, you have to receive the bills.
But National Water disputes the suggestion that residents can go for 5 months without any water supply. According to National Water, areas facing supply challenges are normally subjected to water rationing.
In the areas where we have challenges, we try to ration. And people know that I'm going to get water in a week, 3 days, or 2 days. But somebody say 5 months, I highly doubt that.
Meanwhile, residents in parts of Kampala, including Makindye, have also reported spending days without running water.
Amazzi tubadde tumaze ennaku 3 nga ku tap tekuli mazzi.
Mazzi gabbula, tubeera wano ne tusimba layini, mazzi gajja matono ddala. Mutuufu ye embeera si nnungi. Si nnungi.
According to National Water, a number of factors are affecting water supply in Kampala and surrounding areas, such as power challenges.
Mostly on power outages. Now, you see a plant like Gaba, a plant like Katosi, you can't run it on what? On a generator. If power goes off like for 30 minutes, even the person of Chengera, the person of Matuga, will feel the heat. It takes time again to build levels in Moyenga, levels in Robaga.
Road construction works also remain a challenge.
Now you talked of Machindi. Of recent, we faced a challenge. And you can't stop roadworks. People need water, they need good roads. So still we sit with the local authorities. When they are grading roads, we work with them to minimize the damages.
Despite the challenges, National Water says several projects and interventions are in the pipeline to expand the water network and meet the needs of the growing population in Kampala and surrounding areas.
Now, short term, we are drilling boreholes to cater for areas like Kasenge, that is in Chengera. The borehole is already drilled. Then we have Nabisusa area, that is also within Chengera. We have already completed the drilling of the borehole. Now, other areas like Nabaziza and Nakimese, they are going to benefit from the upgrade of Budo Booster.
Nobat Atukunda, NTV News.
We'll now hear from the FDC party that is calling on the government to withdraw an ultimatum requiring medical interns to report to their designated hospitals by Friday or risk losing their placements. The opposition party says that the directive is unfair and could have many young medical professionals without a path to complete their training.
Still condemn in the strongest terms possible that directive by the Ministry of Health ordering medical interns to report to their designated hospitals by the 14th of August or else they forfeit their placement. Sending an intern to run a ward without pay, without support, and not even a guarantee that they will be facilitated is not deploying them to save lives. It puts both the patients and the interns' lives at risk. Those who will be asking where the money is coming from, we're already giving you a source where this 75 billion can come from. Let us reduce some of the 150 to 175 million dollars that facilitates medical tourism of highly placed government officials and give it to the interns so that they are able to settle down and offer the required medical services to the citizens of Uganda. We have over 24 billion in savings from suspended public holiday functions that could also be redirected to the interns' facilitation.
In other news today, more than 55,000 candidates are sitting Uganda's largest ever vocational and technical assessments, as the Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board steps up efforts to ensure learners are tested on practical skills and workplace readiness. The July-August assessment series, running across more than 400 centers nationwide, has also come with a stern warning against examination malpractice.
Industry. The Uganda Vocational Technical Assessment Board, UVTAB, registered over 55,000 candidates for its July-August 2026 assessment series that began on July 31st to August 21st, the largest ever conducted by the board since it was formed under TVET Act of 2025, officials said. The candidates, drawn from more than 400 assessment centers nationwide, are sitting competence-based training assessments for National Certificate Level 3 and Community Polytechnic Certificate Level 2 qualifications. Of the total candidature, 38,957 are male and 16,831 are female, while 153 candidates are registered as learners with special needs, including hearing and visual impairment, physical disabilities, and other conditions. UVTAB has issued a strong warning against examination malpractice while also calling for stronger practical focus in vocational training. At Nakawa Vocational Training College, one of the centers hosting this assessment cycle, we spoke to Mr. Michael Bitature Rujumba, the deputy principal of the college, who said they registered 733 candidates. About 98% of the learners at the college had been registered across 7 trades, with preparation involving mock examinations, internal assessments, and industrial training placements.
Well, we have approximately 733 candidates that have been registered for the various programs under the national certificate programs. And that's approximately 98% of the candidates that we are teaching.
The institution also set up its own examination task force and installed CCTV surveillance in assessment rooms as part of measures to guard against malpractice.
And we put forward all the necessary repercussions if someone is caught. And of late, we have also instituted another area of expelling a candidate. It's called doing malpractices.
Candidates are being assessed in 7 trades, including electronics, electrical installation, machining and fitting, motor vehicle mechanics, woodworking, plumbing and welding.
Certificate in electronics technology, electricity, machining, fitting, motor vehicle mechanics, woodworking technology, plumbing, welding and welding.
The principal also recommended mock exercises, project assessments, real-life projects, continuous coursework evaluation and industrial training placements, as these enable students to test their skills against real workplace conditions before being cleared to sit the board's final assessment. Reporting for NTV Tonight, I am Bridget Sanyu.
In other news tonight, 4 young people have been arrested in Kampala while marching to Parliament to petition against continued investment in Uganda's oil sector. The arrests come as construction of the East African crude oil pipeline reaches 91%, with the government expecting its first oil extraction before the end of the year.
The youths underrooted in resistance were intercepted by police as they headed to Parliament. They wanted government to hold expansion of the oil infrastructure and instead invest in agriculture, manufacturing, renewable energy, tourism and technology. The group says Uganda's long-term prosperity should be built on its people, land, water, biodiversity and entrepreneurial potential, not finite or resources. According to Luke OSG, the 4 suspects are being held at CPS and will soon be arraigned before court on allegations of public nuisance.
This is after they were seen holding placards, chanting and blocking roads. They are now detained at Central Police Station as we process them to be arraigned in court as soon as possible.
The arrests come as the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline reaches 91%, with government expecting first oil before the end of the year.
Speaking innovation now, every single day, innovation is reshaping the way we live, work, and also care for one another. From artificial intelligence to digital health, technology is solving problems once actually thought impossible. This week on Innovation Nation, we stay here in Kampala, where Nuviva Diagnostic is transforming laboratory medicine with a smart digital system that tracks medical samples in real time, streamlines testing, and delivers results faster. Something people say now is bringing a lot of convenience.
When you or a loved one falls ill, waiting days for laboratory results can feel like an eternity. Behind the scenes, tracking medical samples between clinics and laboratories has long been a logistical challenge that can delay diagnosis and treatment. But in Kampala, one medical laboratory is changing that.
We ensure that we register our patient. When the patient comes,
or the hospital registers the patient before the patient reaches here. So that helps us to digitally track, one, where the sample is, who approved the sample, what happened to the sample. So which helps us to have accountability, accuracy, but also transparency. That, for example, if your sample reached the lab at 1, that time stamp will be stamped in the system. If the certain technician approved the blood results, who and why and what did they do? That's the first thing our LMIS does. The second thing, it helps us to ensure that we have a record of this patient. So if a patient comes back after 6 months, after 1 year, with a unique identifier from our system, we can easily retrieve their details or their history. And it also helps us to report to Ministry of Health with our dashboard of what are the increasing diseases that we have actually been diagnosing here at the center.
Digitizing laboratory records was only the beginning. The team identified another major challenge, transporting samples from clinics to the laboratory. Their solution was DiagnoTrack, a real-time courier tracking platform built specifically for laboratory logistics.
With our DiagnoTrack, we found out that one of the challenges that everyone faces, especially with our doctors that send us the sample, is everyone asks, where is my sample? Who has my sample? Because it's on the border, leaving Nakawa coming to Naguru. So we said, why don't we create something like a FARAS or a safe border for a lab? Like when a sample is picked, the doctor or the hospital has a screen where they can track where the rider has reached, whether the sample has reached the lab, and what is happening to the sample.
The system doesn't just improve visibility, it saves valuable time. And in medicine, time can save lives.
Turnaround time. We understand for our viewers who are watching that the most important thing in medicine and everything we do is time. If we can save time, we can save a life. So, for example, if we misuse time, a CBC in the lab has to come out between 5 to 10 minutes maximum. But if there is a delay on the road, it can take us 1 hour or 2. This 1 hour or 2 does not only delay results, it delays intervention, it delays diagnosis, and it delays treatment and cure for the patient. So what our application helps us, it shows us where are we wasting time. Is it pre-analytical, which means are we wasting time in picking up the sample or taking off the sample from the arm, or are we wasting time in the analytical phase at our lab? Are we wasting time in getting it from the reception to the lab or from the lab? Or are we wasting time in the post-analytical? That are we wasting time to release these results?
Inside the laboratory, automation takes over. Every sample receives a barcode before moving through each department. As it progresses, automatic notifications are sent to partner clinics, keeping healthcare providers informed in real time.
Hospital registers, for us, we don't start from registration here. We actually start from barcoding. When the sample now moves from here, from the reception, we update. So the great thing about our system is when we update our system that now the sample is moving from the reception to the lab, the notification does not only go to our receptionist, but it also goes to our partner clinic that your sample is now leaving from the Nuviva reception to the lab without phone call, nothing.
By eliminating paperwork, reducing manual processes, and providing real-time visibility from collection to diagnosis, Nuviva Diagnostics is redefining laboratory medicine in Uganda. Some patients can now receive their laboratory results in as little as 25 minutes.
So when the sample reaches the lab, the machines are fully automated. So they work on the results. And once the results are out, now this is where we also reduce the wastage of time. Because our software is integrated and interoperable with all the machines that we have in the lab, so we don't waste another time trying to get our technicians type the results. Now the results get automatically pushed via a LAN internet network to the computer of the pathologist to review the results. Once the pathologist reviews the results and approves the results, the patient automatically receives an email of a copy, of a PDF copy of the results, which can go to the patient and also to their registered doctor that was registered in the system. So with this, we can reduce the time pre-analytical by the hospital registering, during analytical by ensuring automated sending of the results without manual transcription, and also ensuring that there is transparency between us and the clinic that sent us the sample, because they can track the journey of where the sample is and what is happening to the blood sample that they sent in the lab without multiple phone calls.
This is a powerful reminder that the future of healthcare isn't only about developing better medicine, it's also about building smarter systems that deliver faster diagnosis, quicker treatment, and greater confidence for patients.
I've just received my results here via email in just 10 minutes, in under 10 minutes, and the results were out. I went to the doctor, and the doctor had to explain to me various tests that we've done, including HIV tests. He has also explained to me the level of my blood cells, the white and the red, obviously. But what we have presented to you today is proof that innovation isn't about fancy gadgets, but it's about bringing solutions that can provide immediate answers to any problem. And I'm Joram Paul Sonko for NTV Innovation Nation in Naguru.
Well, that story will take us in for another break, but Malcolm Sime will be here shortly with business news.
MTN voice bundle. Ay. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later. Hey, Mama.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Bring your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and multi-flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of Pepsi Cola in Uganda.
So many classrooms in Uganda remain empty. No teachers, no learners, no students, because there is no access to education. What if
Research conducted by Siatini about Uganda's debt predicament identifies weak parliamentary oversight in the public debt management process as one of the key drivers increasing public debt exposure, raising questions about how effectively Parliament is scrutinizing government borrowing.
The problem we always have, which we should address, and majorly it comes as a result of corruption, is people rushing into getting into agreements, loan agreements, covering their interests there, not the national interest, so they get the loan early, but when it is not ready to go on the ground to work. Which means the interest of those who sign these loans is to make sure the loan is going to maybe their kickbacks bargained there, which is a precursor for corruption.
But I also want to appeal to government officials that go to negotiate these loans, that they should negotiate in depth such that the loans are really concessional and benefit Ugandans. The projects, when they come, they are implemented. The implementation process is done prudently so that the outcomes from these projects benefit Uganda.
The International Monetary Fund defines debt as sustainable when a government can meet its current and future obligations without defaulting. This is why experts are recommending looking inward.
And early this year, we talked about 126 trillion as the debt, public debt stock. So that is also problematic for a country. But now, as Siatini, we are looking at options available. One of the options available is to enhance domestic revenue mobilization to ensure that we generate sufficient revenue internally, everyone paying their fair share, but also exploring the possible revenue sources, other possible revenue sources available.
Rona Nahabwe, NTV Business.
NTV Business, thank you, Warner. And let's now move on to corporate announcements, because MTN Uganda has reported stronger earnings for the first half of 2026, with profit after tax rising by nearly 38%. And the telecom operator says growth in data and fintech, alongside continued investment in its network, helped lift revenues despite operational headwinds in the first quarter. We have the numbers on your screen now showing a jump in profit to 367.5 billion shillings. MTN recorded a service revenue of 1.8 trillion shillings and data income of up to 566.8 billion shillings. MTN Uganda also is listed on the stock exchange and has closed today unchanged at 436 shillings per share, with a turnover of over 2 billion shillings, having moved 5 million shares on the day. Well, let's now turn to the market, because the Uganda shillings this weekend fell against the United States dollar, with the exchange rate rising 3,725 shillings on average, closing at 3779 and 3719 and 3729, according to Bank of Uganda figures. The currency is now down nearly 1% over the past month and more than 4% over the past year. On the other hand, the Uganda Securities Exchange at the BAUS, the all-share index gained 0.46% to close at 2,233 points, while the local companies index rose nearly 1% to 570 points. Stanbic Bank was the day's biggest gainer, climbing 5.4% to 90 shillings, while Airtel Uganda slipped marginally, and turnover stood at 2.2 billion shillings on the day, and 58 deals were executed. Onto the global markets now. Oil prices jumped as everything was happening, and almost 2% Monday after Iran insisted that the United States must satisfy several demands before the Strait of Hormuz, the oil choke point, where almost 20% of global oil transits can be reopened. Gold edged lower on Monday as a firmer US dollar pressured prices, while investors awaited key US inflation data that could shape expectations for the Fed Reserve policy moves later this week.
Well, Malcolm, well done.
Here we go.
Yeah, what's happening in the world of business
Where
aside
did
from
you
what
go
you just
when we
told us?
closed? Where did you go when we were shut down?
I don't think this is... I thought we talked about this already.
No, I didn't speak about it with you.
I did quite a number of things, to be fair. I don't think you have a lot of... Do you have some time?
I saw your brands. I saw your brands, you know, all over the place. It means you were doing business.
I mean, you've got to keep it going somewhere.
You didn't want to talk about that. That's the line in the room. But yeah, that's the truth. The people are all over the place. I was also doing business.
Yeah.
And I shop without a tie. But let me tell you what. While that was happening, I mean, companies were making money. We were not making money here, but MTN made money. I did one of the stories, 566 billion, 0.8 billion shillings in data income. And that means people are using internet. Yes, they're spending money on their phones. How much do you spend on your TikTok?
Not on air, so they would probably, try to find.
How much do you spend on your TikTok?
During the break. That's a lot of money.
Okay, it tells us actually that people spend a lot of money on data. I was checking the other time. People are spending trillions of shillings on TikTok, by the way. I hope some are doing money. So we really have to close. We have to go, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Malcolm. And it definitely brings us to the very end of NTV Tonight this Monday. We do hope to see you again tomorrow. So please do not go away. Good night.
Cool.